Hey Divas.
Hola, yo soy Izzy.
And I'm Ava. Come take a Diva dump with us.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about ghosting and all the experiences we've had with it, if we've done it, who has ghosted us, all that jazz. Ava, what do you think about ghosting?
I think it's kind of wild, to be honest with you. I don't know why people do it. Like, why don't you just be like, hey, I don't like you anymore, and then leave? Ghosting, it's unnecessary.
It's honestly like, okay, there's like, it's obviously like, it's happened to me before.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But there's only been like 3 times that I've ever been ghosted that have like really hurt me.
Okay.
Like down to my core.
Yeah. It's a pretty hurtful thing to do.
It
to
is.
people.
And I'm like, why don't you have the emotional maturity to just be like, hey, sorry, like I'm not feeling the vibes anymore.
Exactly. I honestly, this might sound a little bit harsh, but ghosting is harsh. I think it's a very cowardly thing to do.
Oh, 1,000%.
And I just
1,000%.
like, I think it's really mean. It's a mean thing to do. That's all it's so simple to be like, hey, I'm not feeling this. I hope all is well with you. Bye. It's so easy to just do that, and people just don't.
Yeah. It's something that like, I don't know. I just started hearing about it like in the recent years.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like it's a new thing, at least to me, but it might have existed for longer, but it's definitely become a lot bigger.
Yeah, because I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I was watching Sex and the City.
Oh, nice.
And the first episode is literally going into the story of like this one girl in New York who gets ghosted by this like really rich dude. So I'm like, obviously ghosting has been around for like a little while.
Yeah, we just kind of coined the term more recently.
Yeah, and I'm like, why is it a thing?
Yeah.
Like, I need to understand. I think one of my favorite interpretations of ghosting ever is from Scream Queens, season 2, when the Chanels are like, what is ghosting? And then Chanel #1 is like, isn't ghosting when you like take a poop and then like you like go to wipe your butt and then there's like nothing on the toilet paper and then you look down at the toilet and there's like nothing there and it's like ghosting, and it's like the funniest episode.
Hilarious.
It's so stupid. Everybody should watch Scream Queens. But
yeah,
it really like, that was like, I think that was like my first introduction to ghosting, because I was like, what is ghosting? I thought this was like a stupid thing from Scream Queens.
Yeah,
but no, it's
but
like,
it's an actual thing.
It's like a thing that people do, and I'm like, why do, like, I want to understand how you can like show so much interest in somebody so casually and like, you know, really like let them know that you want to see them again and that you want to like have them be a part of their life a little bit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden just end all communication.
So
just
strange
all of
to
it.
me.
And I'm like, I understand if like the person is like, I don't know, fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like if you're like somebody that like feels like you might be in like a position where you might be in danger.
Yeah, that's completely different.
That's totally different. Like, I completely see that. But it's like, if you are like talking to another person and you can see that they're probably like an understanding person, or like somebody that is, you know, not gonna kill you.
Yeah.
You could be like, hey, I'm just not feeling the vibes anymore. Like, I'm just like not feeling this like connection anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's just me.
I think ghosting kind of spawned out of like the world of the internet, if that makes sense, because it became so easy to just block somebody.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's where it happened. But you know, the first time I saw it on screen was Grey's Anatomy. It was I think it was Callie in Arizona. And like I think Arizona left Callie, but she just like ghosted her. She just like left the apartment, took all her things, and just left. That was like the first time I really saw it on screen, and I was like, oh, okay, this is like an actually like widely recognized thing that people do,
which is crazy.
Yeah, very much.
It's so crazy. Like, I don't know, I couldn't be me. I will let you know. Like, I'll like be so for real. I'll be like, hey, like I just don't see the vibes. Like, I just am not into it anymore. Like, wish you a happy life. But if they like, this has happened to me before. Like, I've like been like, hey, like I'm just like not feeling anymore. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't think we're a good match. The guy would like just be very persistent and just like ask me like so many times, like why not? Yeah, like why not? Like why? What changed? Like what's this? And like he tried to like bargain with me. He tried to be like, what if we just like cuddled? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do really anything with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I said I'm not interested.
Exactly. Like it's just like I'm like, there's like really nothing I want to do with you in a romantic or sexual or, you know, just any way. Like I don't think we're a good match at all.
Yep.
And he just like kept going at it. So that's when I did have to hit that block button because he just like wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
But it was very like that comes so rare with me. Like I'm like, no, like I'll be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But like I need you to be honest with me.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. I can't really say that I've like truthfully like ghosted somebody. I feel like in my mind, like ghosting, it's like you go on a couple dates and all of a sudden you just block them on all platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've never done that, but I feel like I can say I've slowly ghosted someone.
Yeah, you've slowly passed away.
Yeah, yeah. Like as in like I've been on a date with somebody and been like maybe I'm not really interested in them, but I kind of feel bad to fully on reject them.
Mm-hmm.
Although I should, at times I should.
Mm-hmm.
But there have been times where I'm like, what if I just slowly stop talking to them? They'll get the hint. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
And sometimes there are times where I'll be like, hey, like, I'm not really feeling it. I'm not interested. And they either take it well or they don't or whatever. But at least I told them. You know what I mean? At least I have that I can say about it.
I've seen a lot of videos on, like, TikTok of, like, women.
Yeah.
In long-term relationships,
getting ghosted
by their fucking partner.
Yeah, that's insane.
And this is not like a 5-month situation.
No, it's
not
like years.
This is like years. I think I saw one and it was like they were like dating for like 2 years or something. I don't know. I'll have to like look up the video.
That's
but
so crazy.
They were dating for like 2 years. He moved away for like something. I can't remember. And then he just vanished out of thin air. But it wasn't like a Gone Girl situation where he like died. It was more like he genuinely just found another woman and just ghosted his partner.
That's insane. See, I think that's really fucked up.
That is.
How do people do that?
That is sadistic.
Yeah, honestly.
That is horrific.
Yeah, because it's like I would think something awful happened to them.
I would
like,
literally cry my eyes out.
No, I would like be like, oh my god, my partner is missing, blah blah blah, and no, they just moved on, found another woman to start a new life. That's crazy. Insane.
It's so shocking that so many people feel comfortable doing that because they think it's the easiest way to like reject somebody, and it's like it's not. It's not. It's actually one of the most horrific ways.
Difficult and it's awful.
Yeah.
It's just mean.
Also, how do you not have that on your conscience? How do you not?
I would
like,
feel guilty.
Yeah. How do you not feel like bad about like just ending communication with somebody with no sort of like hint that you don't like them anymore?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. I agree. So on that note, have you been ghosted before?
Yes. Like I said, there's been 3 times in my life up to this point where I've been ghosted, and those 3 times have really hurt. Like I've been ghosted a few times, but those guys did not matter as much as these 3.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I have. What about you?
I don't think so.
Look at you.
I'm trying to thank you.
Look at the material.
I'm trying to think, and I don't think anyone's outright ghosted me, but it's definitely because I'm like, my thing is like, I will dump you before you dump me. Like
Which is crazy.
Well,
okay.
Yes, but I will always be like the breaker upper. I will never get broken up with, if that makes sense. So it's usually I just beat them to it.
Yeah, I get that. I understand that. I don't. I'm such a hopeless romantic. I'm literally like.
That's okay.
I am the worst. Like I imagine a whole life with a dog and kids. It's horrible.
You're funny.
But yeah, no, I don't know. Like I just there was one last year, and I've told this story 1,000 times because I'm like, it was like the one time a guy came, like actually asked me out in person, out in the wild. It wasn't on the internet. It was out in the wild. And I hope he's doing well. I've moved on now. It's fine. But it's just a funny story to me now, so I keep telling it.
Yes.
But this wasn't the most recent ghosting, but it was like the second most recent.
Okay.
And I'll try to spare some of the details. He like came in for an appointment. I did his hair. He said it was one of the best haircuts he's ever had. He said that I work well with my hands when I was giving him the head massage. Very happy for that. I hope he still thinks so, because
I do second that, but in a non weird way.
Oh, he did say that though. He was like, I hope this doesn't sound weird, but you're like really good with your hands. And I'm like, and I was like walking out and I was like, okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Anyway, so like I finished like the whole haircut and like whatever, and like we're relatively the same age. He's about to leave and he's like, hey, like, by the way, if you're still looking for friends in the city, because this was like when I was like relatively new to the city and I was like still kind of like trying to find my tribe and all that.
Sure.
he was like, yeah, like if you're still looking for friends, I would like to like let's grab a cup of coffee sometime. And I'm like, okay, sure, like no problem. Like I'll give you my info. So I give him my number, I give him my Insta and my Snap. And he literally like 10 minutes later literally added me on all the things. Texted me on all the things.
Love
and I was
it.
like, sick. This is sick. And then like as my day went on, I was like, was I just asked out on a date? I don't get this. Anyways, so we proceed to talk for like 3 days. And those 3 days, he is literally just like perfect on screen. Like he is just, I don't know, like he's so sweet and he's like very like flirtatious and he asks me questions about myself and he's like really, he's just a really cool guy. And he never gave me the impression that he wasn't into me. Like he never gave me the impression that he was like over it.
Yeah.
So day of said date comes and he still hadn't texted me by that point for like a day and a half.
Okay.
I was like, okay, that's LOL. So we just don't go on this date.
Yeah.
And so I proceed to tell you.
Yeah.
And then
you're like, this man has not replied.
Like 4 of their friends. And I'm like, Kate, like what is going on? And like I showed you the texts. I didn't show anybody else the texts, I'm pretty sure. But I showed you the text and you were like, yeah, he didn't show any sign of like not being interested in you.
Yeah.
Like literally the conversation, like we stopped talking mid conversation. Like there was nothing after.
Weird.
Like he asked me a question, I answered it, and he just never replied. Yes. And I don't think I gave him a weird answer. He asked me a question that was like, what do you like to do on your free time?
Yeah, no, I remember that. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like let me answer. I did answer with 4 paragraphs because I have a lot of interests and I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do remember that. I was like, you did say a lot, but that's also not obviously warranted for like ghosting. I would just have been like, oh,
I was a different person, okay? I was a different person.
You weren't as low key as you are now.
No, I'm not as mysterious and sexy. Anyways, no, but it's true. Like it was just like, it happened so out of the blue and I was like so taken aback because it was like, what the frick? Yeah. Anyways, at the end of his appointment, we rebooked him for another one. And so literally months go by and I'm still like, dude still hasn't contacted me. Yeah. By the way, he was still looking at my Instagram stories and he liked like 2 of my Instagram posts. So I was like, okay, so you're on your phone and you're clearly interacting with my shit, but you're not gonna text me back?
Weird.
Okay, whatever. So I have to give him a call because like this was back when my boss was like telling me to like give people calls in order to, you know, just let them know, a little reminder that their appointment's coming up.
Sure.
So I had to give him a call. I had to be like, hey, LOL. Just letting you know you have an appointment, not to be a stalker or anything. And obviously he doesn't pick up. It's like it goes to voicemail. Yeah. And I send the call and whatever.
Nothing.
I don't hear a thing from him and he doesn't show up to his appointment.
Of course.
So he's like fully booked in my column and he doesn't come to his appointment. And it's like, oh, so you didn't even have the basic human decency to tell me that you're not, to come to your appointment. Like you could have told me you're not coming. I would have been so okay with it. And I would have found somebody else to fill that slot because then I had just had like an hour and a half that I had just had nothing to do because of that. And I was what got me so mad. And I love that Instagram has this feature. If you don't want somebody following you, you can like
remove them.
Yeah, you can remove them from following you. Yeah. So that's exactly what I did. And he hasn't followed me back since. He hasn't done anything since. Like I'm like, okay, great. I deleted his number. I deleted everything, the text, whatever. So I'm here like totally moved on. But I'm still like, I want to know what happened. Like I was so curious for the longest time. I was like, I want to know what happened. Like what changed so drastically that you felt the need to just dip?
That's the question of the hour. It's like, what makes someone want to ghost someone?
Yeah, it's like, what?
Why?
What did I say that you thought was warranted? You know?
Do all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you tell that story, it kind of reminds me, I've like been somewhat stood up multiple times.
Yes, you
but
have.
I've never been ghosted fully because I've had to see them later. Like they've stood me up and then I've had to see them. So I'm like, well, you can't ghost me if I have to see you every day.
Yeah, it's like I can, like we know, and like he and I had absolutely nothing, like no sorts of like interactions that were going to be like crossing paths.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, that's great.
Yeah.
But it's also like, if I do see you, I will probably ask you. Just kidding. No,
fine.
I won't. But I will be like, oh, that's the guy. That's if I remember what he looks like. Because it's been so long, I genuinely don't remember what he looks like.
I don't remember either.
Yeah.
That's how we know that it wasn't memorable.
Yeah. But that one hurt me. And I know that we only talked for 3 days. And I know that it was only like such a short little thing. And, you know, it was one guy. But it hurt me so much because he met me in real life. He didn't meet me on a dating app. He didn't like.
It was like out in the wild.
Yeah, he wasn't like one of my Snapchat guys. It was literally out in the wild, and it was so like it was such a new experience to me. And I was like, why did you switch up? Like what? Like you know what I'm like in person. I'm like, my hairstylist personality is not very different than my real personality. Yeah. So it's like, I don't think it's a personality, is it?
No. I know it feels like a personal dig, but at the end of the day, I think ghosting it has everything to do with the person themselves.
1,000%.
I don't think it has anything to do with us. I think it's them and like whatever they're going through. But like, I don't understand it. Yep. But maybe that's a good thing. The fact that I don't understand why people ghost means that I'm not a ghoster.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Like, that's the tea. Like, if you're going to take anything from this, it's that, you know, it's usually, like, always like a them issue. Yeah, and not always a you issue.
Exactly.
And it's fine. That's totally okay. But yeah, no, that was just, like, one of my ghosting stories. It was whatever.
I wish I had a story to tell, but I don't.
That's okay. No worries. I mean, you could tell your stories of you getting stood up. Those ones are embarrassing.
Yeah, it's embarrassing for me because why am I getting stood up?
Well, not embarrassing for you. It was embarrassing for the guys.
Oh, well, that
like,
too.
You had to see them.
I had to see them. That's
you had
the
to
crazy
see them,
part.
but it was like
it's happened 3 times, I think, off the top of my head. 3 times. Once was a long time ago. We had made plans the night before, and I woke up the next day, got ready, and just never heard anything from him. And he was like, sorry, I was sleeping at 6 p.m. when we were supposed to meet up at 12.
Was that the G word?
No. It was a different one. It was earlier than that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was like, hey, and then he was like, yeah, sorry, I was sleeping. And I was like, well, it's 6 p.m., so that would have meant you slept all day. You couldn't have, texted me.
Yeah.
Because he was active on Snap Maps. He was. So I was like, you couldn't have just been like, hey, I'm gonna sleep. That's literally 2 words.
That's like another thing. Dude, if you're gonna act like a douche, turn your Snap Maps off. Because you can see how active you are.
It's actually so funny. I'm like, if you're gonna like be, down low, commit to the bit.
Yeah, commit to the bit. Unless they do it intentionally and they're like, they want you to see that they're doing other things, and then you're just like, I'm not here to play games with you.
No.
Like, if you're pursuing me romantically, dude, pursue me romantically.
Exactly.
But if you want to play these games, oh my God, I'm already over you.
I hate people that play games. Actually, so annoying. But like the second most recent. So second one was G word.
G word, got it.
We literally.
God bless him.
God bless him. But like, we had a class together, and we were supposed to hang out, and he just didn't text me. He texted me that morning. Like that morning, we were supposed to meet up a couple hours later, and then he just didn't text me for the rest of the day, and I was like, okay. And then I texted him, and I was like, what the fuck? And I had to see him in class the next day, and I saw him, and I was like, hey.
Do you care to tell the audience what you called him the next day?
Oh, okay. Well,
or what you called him when he stood you up?
Well, so on one of the times we hung out, he had jokingly said that he was written by a woman, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Every time you say that, I have to laugh.
It's so like biggest facepalm ever because like you cannot call yourself that. No. I'm gonna tell you right now to all the men out there. Don't say that about yourself.
Yeah, don't say that. That's embarrassing for you.
It's cringy, and in the best way. So anyways, he had once said that, and I looked at him and I was like, "Are you being serious right now?" But I thought it was funny, and I like moved on. And then that day when he like stood me up, I texted him and I was like, "Wow, so Mr. Written by a Woman stands up girls. I didn't see that one coming. So that's what I said, and he was like, "Oh, like sorry, blah blah," and I was like, I don't care. I'm just like, I had to say something, And then I would see him in class after that, and we were chill, but I was like, we don't need to be best friends after that. We just don't.
It's the funniest. Like, he is like the epitome of like a himbo, because you're just that dumb and also that attractive.
Yeah,
good for you.
He's very good looking, but I'm also like, yeah, you can't get away with this much.
Yeah, you're not hot enough to be doing that.
Thank you.
You're not 2009 Zac Efron. Sorry.
And 2009 Zac Efron is my man.
Like, he could do whatever, right?
Yeah, and the last one, the most recent, you were with me when this happened. We were supposed to go out, and then he didn't snap me for 24 hours, which I was like, whatever. And then we went out to the bar, and we ran into him, and I saw him, and he saw me, and he was like, hey. And I was like, hey, so now you want to see me. Now you want to say hi. Interesting. What happened?
I remember that because like we were just
funny.
like we were just dancing and you were like, oh my god, that's him, and I'm like, who? And you're like, you know, him, and I'm like, oh, okay, sick.
Yeah.
And then he like, you guys talk.
Yeah.
And he's like smiling and he's like,
yeah, he was like, oh, all flirty, and I was like, don't flirt with me. You stood me up.
And I was like, wait, why the switch up, bro? You had a date to go on.
And he was like, I'll take you out in a couple days, blah blah. Never did.
Never did that.
Never did.
Never did that.
No. So.
Oh my god.
Pretty men think that they can get away with anything, and I'm sick. I'm sick and tired of it.
It's like, you're really annoying.
Yeah.
By the way,
Y'all,
like you started as a 10. Ended as a 5.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Stop ghosting people. Stop standing up people.
It makes you ugly.
Thanks for listening, everybody, to us yap about ghosting and getting stood up.
Reminder, don't do it. But what you should do is follow all of our socials listed down below in the description box. But yeah, have a good night, everybody.
Love you, girl. Bye.